a lot of great distilleries out there that people don't know a lot about, and it's not about the quality of the whiskey. These facilities are flying under the radar. Let's change that. Hey everybody, it's Mark, the East Coast Whiskey Sipper, coming to you again today from in front of my whiskey cabinet. The focus of today's Flying Under the Radar is Silverthorn Reserve. Silverthorn Reserve is a small, independent whiskey brand focused on very small batch curated releases rather than large-scale distilling. It's essentially a blending and barrel selection project created by whiskey industry veteran Drew Thorne. Now, you've probably heard of Drew Thorne. He spent a decade launching and building Sagamore Spirits into a national brand. He decided to leave his role as CEO to create something uniquely small. Now, Drew had this to say about Silverthorn Reserve. Silverthorn Reserve is about a dedication to uncompromising quality and the opportunity to take on projects that make no sense at scale. Over the years, I've had the chance to collaborate with some of the best in the industry. It's with thanks to them that I bring Silverthorn Reserve to you. Now, Silverthorn Reserve deals in extremely small batches, often 2 to 10 barrels. Their philosophy is transparency and craftsmanship rather than mass production. Instead of distilling everything themselves, they select standout barrels, blend or finish them, and release limited nano batches with detailed composition information. Every bottle typically includes details like mash bills, blend ratios, and barrel sources. Now, Silverthorn Reserve is still very new. I mean, their first commercial releases were in 2025, and they are positioned as a boutique whiskey project for enthusiasts rather than a mass-marketed brand. Silverthorn Reserve was generous enough to send me samples of their early releases. What they sent me was a 13-year-old single barrel bourbon. It comes in at 106 proof. It's cask strength. Now, only 5 barrels total of this were released. They also sent me a bourbon and rye blend, a Boo Rye. Now, although it has a 10-year age statement, 50% of this bottle is made up of a 13-year-old bourbon. And the last one they sent me was a 10-year port-finished rye. Well, let's get into the single barrel bourbon. Now, it has a mash bill of 80% corn, 10% rye, 5% wheat, and 5% malted barley. It comes in at 105 proof, is non-chill filtered, and has an MSRP of $140. All right, on to the nose. I get vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, and some oak. All right, onto the palate. I get the vanilla and caramel from the nose. I also get a little bit of orange and apricot. I get baking spices as well. Okay, one last time in for the finish. A long finish. I get sweetness as well as oak and some barrel char. Okay, let's move into the Boo Rye. 50% of this bottle is made up of the 13-year-old bourbon we just reviewed. 28% of this bottle is made up of a 10-year-old straight rye. It has a mash bill of 44% corn, 51% rye, and 5% malted barley. The last 22% of this bottle is made up of another 10-year-old straight rye. It has a mash bill of 95% rye and 5% malted barley. The whole bottle comes in at 103 proof and it is non-chill filtered. It has an MSRP of $100. All right, on to the nose. I get vanilla, leather, and some nuttiness, like almonds. Okay, on to the palate. Ooh, great oily mouthfeel. I get vanilla frosting, caramel. I also get tea and honey. All right, one last time in for the finish. A medium to long smooth finish. sweet fruit, a little bit of chocolate, and some oak. All right, let's move into the last bottle. This one is the port finished rye. It's made up of both the 10-year rye from the Boo rye. 57% of this bottle is made up of the 95.5 rye. The other 43% of this bottle is made up of the other 10-year rye. Now, after blending it, it is finished in 10-year-old Tawny port barrels. The bottle comes in at 100 proof and is non-chill filtered. MSRP will run you $100. All right, on to the nose. I get honey and baking spices. I also get figs and plums. Okay, on to the palate. Ooh, very creamy mouthfeel. I get the honey and the baking spices from the nose. I also get apple, a bit of mint, a little nuttiness. Okay, one last time in for the finish. Ooh, not a long finish. Starts off with lightly creamy and sweet and then dries out quickly. I do get a lingering spice and mint flavor. All right, so Silverthorn Reserve has very good whiskey. It has a complex flavor. What I mean by that is it has a nice sweet and spice balance, and it's mature, but not overly oaky. Now, the only downside I see is the price and the scarcity, since the brand focuses on extremely limited single barrels and batches. But if price isn't an issue, pick up a bottle or two from their website. Now, I'll leave their website in the description so you can check them out. Well, that's it. If you like this review, please remember to like and subscribe, and also remember to hit the bell to turn on notifications. I don't want you to miss any great content. Well, this is the East Coast Whiskey Sipper signing off, and always remember, keep sipping.